Bro, where have I been? Why didn't anybody tell me about this game? I believe this game has altered my brain chemistry low-key. I mean, I was always aware of Final Fantasy's existence, but I just always avoided it for some reason. And my reasoning was dumb for so many years, but when I got older, like, things kind of clicked for me. One of the main reasons why I avoided Final Fantasy is because when I was younger, I always thinking to myself, yeah, this gameplay looks boring. Who wants to do turn-based gameplay? But when I got a little older, literally last year, I thought to myself, I'm gonna try this game, because what was I talking about when I was younger, bro? I've played damn near every Pokemon game growing up, and that's a turn-based game. And I played the fuck out of Wizard 101, and that's a turn-based game. I don't know, I guess I was just thinking illogically and immature when I was younger, but man, I regret doing it because I missed out during the peak of it. This game is really amazing, bro. This game has made me wanting to start playing other Final Fantasies. I've played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I really said I'm gonna wait till the full trilogy come out to really, indulge into that. Plus, I also heard they said play the original is better than a remake, so I'm still looking into what's all that about. Like I said, I was always aware of Final Fantasy's existence because one of the biggest things, one of the best things about that franchise to me are their renders. Their renders are crazy. The cutscenes in this game, bro, Jesus, like PS2, are you serious? They was doing shit like this? Like this Seymour cutscene right here when he summoned his Aeon, just incredible, bro. Everything about this, the detail of everything is just beautiful to me. So a quick story about me playing Final Fantasy X, right? This is a quick story. I picked up Final Fantasy X around, I want to say last September, something like that, when I first got my PS2 back, and I was just buying games. And Final Fantasy X just looked interesting to me. I swear to God, I never even heard praise of it. I didn't know it was this loved by the community. So I just thought the cover looked hard, you know what I'm saying? And it was a Final Fantasy game. I said, let me go ahead and try a Final Fantasy game on PS2. So I picked it up. I played it for about a week and I dropped it. Not because it was bad, because I just was dealing with other stuff. I had a different job and I was, still doing, I still do music videos, pictures, events, all that stuff for the camera stuff. So boom, fast forward to this year when I moved into my new apartment. I sat down and said, all right, let's go ahead and lock in with this game. Bro, I was playing this game for like 7-hour sessions, probably like, that's kind of exaggerated, like 5-hour sessions, but a long time. I was dialed in every time I turned the game on and put Final Fantasy X in. Just the nostalgia of this game took me back, and I didn't even have a PS2 when I was little. My cousin did. I was a Nintendo guy, you know what I'm saying? My brothers had an Xbox, but I had GameCube, Wii, DS, all that was me. But it's just the overall vibe and the look of this era of gaming that it just took me back to. Like, it was so much, you can tell, it was so much love and genuineness put into these games, and plus the tropical look of the 2000s. I love that so much, you know what I'm saying? Like most of the areas in Final Fantasy X, like the beach, they got the beach look to it. Mario Sunshine, Hydro Thunder, games like that look, I love that look, you know what I'm saying? Sonic Adventure, the first level of Sonic, stuff like that. It's still good games in this era, but you can tell that corporations have gotten their hands into the mix of everything. At one point, these games were made by people who love games themselves, actual gamers, people who actually had a passion for it. Now it's just looked at as dollar signs, AAA wise. But yeah, let's get into the game. Let's talk about this game. So heads up, if you plan on playing this game, or if you are actively playing this game, go ahead and click off of this, bro, because it's going to be spoilers, because I got to get some off my chest. So that was your warning. Let's go. So first and foremost, I love the character designs. I love the characters in general. I love the personalities they gave all of these people. I think Tidus has became, I would say, a top 5 favorite protagonist for me. It's funny because I was playing this in the living room with my friend one day, and he was watching, and he was like, bro, this dude sounds so familiar. He's talking about Tidus. I was like, you know what? He actually kind of does. I couldn't put my finger on it. And I looked up his voice actor, and the voice actor also voiced Johnny Test. And when Tidus talked, all I could see is Johnny Test's face. And I said, you know what, bro? This makes sense. I can actually hear that. But yeah, Tidus was a very outgoing, passionate person. He was a very thoughtful person. It doesn't matter who he ran into. He was always open to help people. Kind of reminds me of Sora, to be honest. He was also very optimistic, even during the toughest of times. You know what I'm saying? So it's just they were in a bag with this. I'm not really speaking in chronological order about this story. I just want to say that Seymour, when I first saw him, I was like, this is a crazy design for this character, bro. But when I first saw Seymour, I said, man, it's something off about this dude. Just the energy he radiated. I said, something's not right with this dude. He looked cool. His Aeon, the summoning, that cutscene, it was horrible. I was like, something's off. He's off. And I was right. We fought this motherfucker down there 20 times. I said, God damn. I knew it was something off about that dude, bro, but I did not know we was going to fight him, or I didn't really think he was going to be the main antagonist. Well, he's not technically the main antagonist. He's, I guess, number 2 to Sin, I guess you could say. But we had to fight him a lot, so he damn near was the main. Seymour really was a fucked up individual. He killed his own daddy, and he was ungrateful for having Anima. That Aeon is crazy. What you mean you ungrateful for that? Bro, I was like, yeah, dude fucked up in the head. And he really was an asshole. He was really pretentious too. Let's go on. Let's talk about the gameplay. I have a confession. It took me about, I want to say about 20, maybe 30 hours for me to realize that you could swap out party members mid-fight. Blew my fucking mind when I figured that mechanic out. That shit changed the game for me. I'm thinking this whole time you can only use those 3 people in the active party before you fought. So you always have to go to the menu, reorganize your formation, then fight. I didn't know about the swapping out characters mid-fight. So when I figured that out, bro, it was like the biggest slap to the forehead. And I ain't gonna lie, I figured this out because it's my first Final Fantasy game, so I needed a little bit of help, bro. I didn't know what was completely going on. I knew for the most part, but some things I just needed help on because I didn't know what was happening. I saw a YouTube video of somebody doing it, but nobody online explained how he was swapping out party members. So one dude was just like, yeah, go to the menu from your party and do it. And I'm sitting there like, what button? Because I'm hitting pause, and that just paused the game. He was talking about mid-fight when he was talking about swapping out whatever. But GameFAQs, hey, first of all, thank God for GameFAQs, bro, because I'm glad they kept them forums up. I hope they stay up to the end of time because they still helping people out like 20 years later. It's kind of interesting coming from Kingdom Hearts into Final Fantasy because you see the things that were mentioned in Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. Oh, that's where Kingdom Hearts got it from. Blizzaga, you know what I'm saying? Firaga, all of that shit. Same for the characters. You know, I seen Auron first in Kingdom Hearts 2. My friend was like, yeah, that's a Final Fantasy character. I said, what the fuck are they putting Final Fantasy characters in there? You know, it's kind of random, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, that did Square Enix or whatever. I love Auron's character because his monotone voice and slick and sometimes sarcastic remarks. Just seeing Auron's character progression throughout this game was beautiful to me, especially the ending. So let me talk about the ending real quick. Let's sidebar. So the ending got spoiled for me, bro. I was pissed. I'm talking about steaming, bro. Cause I was like, why would you do that? So I was on Reddit trying to figure it out. I forgot which fight I was on. I was like, bro, it may have been the first Seymour fight. Cause I was trying to figure out how to stop the his magic, but he was like no blaze and no shock and all that, whatever. Whichever magic, you know, turn he's on, just use with Yuna to use no or whatever. And on Reddit, if you haven't been on Reddit, if it's a spoiler, it's like gray bars that's blocking it out, whatever. So me, I'm thinking like, okay, it can't be nothing too crazy because all we doing is talking about the fight. I'm thinking it's gonna spoil something maybe like within the next hour of the game, maybe the next 30 minutes, maybe something within the fight. This motherfucker goes from, yeah, use this move to do that and that. Yeah, Tidus and Auron dies. I said, why the fuck would you do that? That has nothing to do with the fight. Why would you bring that up? I don't know, but after that point, I said, bro, I'm finna try to figure out everything on my own because motherfuckers out here tripping, dude. Yeah, it was already kind of hinted that Auron was dead or, you know, wasn't sent off because that one area after talking to Seymour, we had to talk to Yuna's dead parents and they was talking, you know, all that shit. The afterward, I forgot the name of it. It was the afterword or whatever. And Auron was like, I don't want to go in there because I don't need to, all that shit. And I was like, that's kind of weird that you don't want to go in there with everybody else. Same for Tidus. It was already hinted that Tidus wasn't alive because the faith told him that they dreaming or whatever. And he's a dream too. So I was like, okay, he's gonna die when Sin dies. Still though, I wanted to figure that out myself. I didn't need a motherfucker off Reddit telling me that. Another character that I liked a lot was Wakka. I love Wakka's character. I like that older brother vibe they brought to Tidus within Wakka. I think that chemistry was really well done. I also loved Wakka's character development to watch him going from stubborn to being understanding about situations. It was amazing to see. Mainly about the Yu Yevon's teachings and the Al Bhed. He just changed a lot towards the end of the game. I liked how he learned that all Al Bhed aren't bad people because he didn't know Riku was an Al Bhed until after they told him. But before that, he liked Riku a lot. He liked her as a person. But as soon as they said, oh, Al Bhed, he was like, oh no, they're bad people. But it's like, bro, you didn't know she was an Al Bhed. You thought she was a good person before knowing it. So it's like, you gotta accept that all of them not bad people because I believe that Al Bhed actually killed his brother. And I really can't even blame Wakka for being mad at them because that's his brother. He has every right to be angry, full of resentment for those people for taking one of his loved ones, you know what I mean? Another thing about this game that tripped me up was the sphere grid. Oh my god, that shit was crazy. Seeing that for the first time, I said, dude, what the fuck is this? The sphere grid is so intricate and interesting at the same time. Like, you can, like, the paths you can take to really get diverse with your character and get down to minute details of how you want your character to play. The spells, just everything about it was hard. I like that shit. That shit was hard. Only time I didn't like it was with Yuna, because with Yuna, it was one specific thing I had to get, and I had to grind the fucking butt. Bro, that game towards the end got really grindy. Like, that last quarter of the game, oh my god, it got really grindy because I had to learn Holy. Because before I learned Holy, Sin's Head, that boss fight, he was fucking us up. So fighting Sin's Head, you get, I think, 13 turns, I believe. 13 or 14 turns is one of them. But after that 14th or 13th turn, if you haven't killed Sin's Head by then, it's an insta-death, insta-white screen, insta game over. So I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to kill this man? I didn't have the celestial weapons, so I couldn't do over 9k damage. And I'm like, if I can't do over 9k damage, and black magic, Lulu does black magic, Yuna only had fire and thunder for black magic, so I really couldn't do damage. My heavy hitters were melee people, that was Ornn and Tidus. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? They said do Aeon overdrives. Some of the overdrives couldn't even reach Sin's Head until he got closer. So I had to go and read it again, unfortunately, and they said you gotta learn to move Holy. It does so much damage. And I forgot which part of the sphere grid I was on for Yuna, but I just know I had to grind my ass off to get to that Holy sphere. But it was a game changer. Holy was a fucking game changer. I like how that allowed you to go into other characters' grids, so you can learn some of their moves, and like, you can really just make a beast of a character. This is like that was the most RPG game I've ever played. You could really make your character how you wanted to. I think I ended the game with about 50-ish hours or something like that, because the last part of the game really wasn't that hard. The last Seymour fight was pretty easy. I think he only had one phase. He just did this gimmick with the turn, whatever the circle turned to, that's the type of spell he's using, fire, ice, and all that shit. So it was pretty easy. You just learn how to Noah shock that, and I think he does it twice though. Oh yeah, and Seymour Flux. Oh, Seymour Flux was awful. That fight was terrible for me, bro. I think I ended up using Bio on him, but the moves he was putting out on me as Seymour Flux was, oh, that shit was gross. Oh my lord. Other than Seymour, I think it was the Sin Fin and Sin Spawn Genius Core? Sin Spawn Genius Core, I think it's like, I don't know how to pronounce. But those fights, it took me like 8 hours. That shit was fucking ridiculous. I got past the Sin Fins, right? In a decent amount of time. I got past the Sin Fins in a moderate amount of time. But the Sin Spawn Genius fight, I'm calling it the Sin Spawn fight, whatever. It was pretty cringe. But I eventually got him with the Shiva Overdrive, and I fought the Core one-on-one with Ifrit, and just kept healing and shielding while sneaking in attacks while also building up my Overdrive to kill him. Because I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty tough going from both Sin Fins, 2 more fights with the Core, the little snake looking thing, I think it was, the clam thing, and then you had to fight the actual Core. That's like 5 fights right there in one go. Oh yeah, also the music for Final Fantasy X is beautiful. One of the best fight themes I've ever heard. The main theme, oh my god, the main theme, that piano is beautiful. At one point I would just sit down and let the main theme from the title screen play out. It was just so soothing here. See, what I liked about Xenarch and Ruins, that music, I love when games do this. But you know, in Final Fantasy X, the area, whatever you're in, it has this theme. But when you start the fight music plays. But in Xenarch and Ruins, I like how the music continuously plays even during the fight, because the music is so powerful for that moment. Like the flute in that song, oh my god. I really recommend y'all going to just listen to Xenarch and Ruins on your own, because it's amazing. Everything about this game is just stuck with me. As I mentioned before, the rendered cutscenes mean a lot to me. Anytime I saw a rendered cutscene, I knew that shit was serious. Bro, that rendered cutscene with Yuna and Tidus in that lake, that shit that made me cry. It was beautiful, bro. Just, this game is how you tell a story, a meaningful story with depth. I really want those who haven't played this game to really go out there and play. Even if you play it on an emulator, just play it, bro. I really recommend playing it on the original hardware to get the full experience, but however you play it. Because I've seen the remaster and the remaster graphics and all that shit compared to the original. They didn't really do it any justice, to be honest. But yeah, I really been sleeping on Final Fantasy X, bro. I slept on it hard. I picked up Final Fantasy X 2 about 3 days ago, so I'm going to be streaming that actually. So if you made this far at the end, surprise, you gonna know to watch out for the streams coming soon. I'm probably gonna leave a comment in the comments down below about me streaming, but you'll see. If you made this far listening to me ramble about this game, I appreciate you, and you really a Final Fantasy X lover like me, bro.